his face and his butt cheeks. In the butt cheeks, his 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 butt cheeks. That is true, got the death high down. Grenade man, feel good, I'm sleeping today. Like I'm sorry.
Lindsey Graham has labels on his taint and his butt cheeks. 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 Lindsey Graham has labels on his taint and his butt cheeks. His butt cheeks. His butt cheeks. His butt cheeks. Lindsey Graham has ladybugs on his taint. His butt cheeks. His butt cheeks. His butt cheeks. His butt cheeks. His butt
Damn. Damn, y'all. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I feel bad for his wife and kids. I feel bad for his wife and kids. You got to feel bad for the family. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure all of you have heard by now. But Lindsey Graham is officially gonzo. I repeat, Lindsey Graham is officially gonzo. Now, let me just say, I denounce and reject memes like this right here. Claims to be pro-life, dies. That's uncalled for. That's uncalled for. I don't know why you guys would do that, honestly. Sorry if you hear some wind noise out here. It started raining outside, y'all, but this is what it looked like outside of Lindsey Graham's apartment. Take a look. Exclusive photos show Lindsey Graham being carted out of his residence while surrounded by emergency medical service workers administering first aid, says TMZ. So that's Lindsey Graham on the stretcher there. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. So what we know is he was apparently in Ukraine for a trip. And he came back after that long flight back, and he started experiencing chest pain in the evening. And apparently they called 911, or he called 911 at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I don't know all the specifics, but it appears to be the case that, like, he was gonzo pretty much immediately. It was like a massive heart attack, killed him pretty much immediately. I'm not sure if by the time he got to the hospital, I'm not sure if he was even alive by then. I think he may have been gone by the time he got to the hospital. Okay, so this is what we're hearing. Take a look at this from Black Knight. He says, imagine being the Republican Party and trying to hide the fact that one of your senators died, Mitch McConnell, to avoid holding a special election, and then a totally different Republican senator died from karma. So this is a big deal, bro. It's a big deal for a number of reasons. How about this? Chris D. Jackson says, the Senate is now effectively tied. McConnell is missing, Graham is gone, and Trump keeps pissing off Republicans like Tillis and Cassidy. You thought he couldn't get shit passed before? Just wait. He's a lame duck on steroids, burning the votes he needs to govern. So it makes sense if you count the votes the way he's counting the votes here, which, you know, there's reason to believe this is a fair way of analyzing it. The Senate is already effectively tied, especially with the shit that Trump wants passed, the stuff he's trying to force through. Not going to be able to do it. Simply not going to be able to do it. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. They are now messing with Lindsey Graham's Wikipedia. Lindsey Olin Graham was Donald Trump's personal masseur and Netanyahu's best friend. Damn. Damn. Got more, though. How about this one? He's put in there as First Lady of the United States. Look, there's a lot of stuff I can say about Lindsey Graham. I will say this. I'm not sure there's a single senator in U.S. history who cared less about domestic politics, economic policy, and the American people. This man, upwards of 80% of the time he talked about anything, it would be foreign policy. It would be Israel, it would be Ukraine, it'd be having a big beefy military or whatever the fuck. That's what he talked about. He simply did not care about anything domestically, and he would vote for all the worst things. Tax cuts for billionaires, cuts to Medicaid, cuts to the SNAP program. So nobody cared less about the people of the United States of America than Lindsey Graham. Also, I mean, I don't even need to get into the specifics, but I could sort of get into the specifics if you guys want. But the fact of the matter is, this dude, there's stories out there. There are whispers out there. There's a lot of the high dollar male escorts in the DC area have stories about Lindsey Graham, where he is one of the most obvious closet cases of all time. Go ahead and do yourself a favor and look up why they call him Ladybug or Ladybugs. Go ahead and look that up. I'm not going to repeat it on air. This is a family-friendly show, but y'all go ahead and check that out, and you decide what to do with that information. But I know what I did with that information, and it was try to snuff it out of my memory because it was haunting me. Okay, look at this. This is the last photo of Lindsey Graham to exist. It is Lindsey Graham holding a drone. This photo was taken yesterday in Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, he died doing what he loved. He died doing what he loved, and that is warmongering. That is holding weapons of death and destruction. This man loves nothing more than death and destruction. He's never met a single war that he didn't love, and everybody knows that about him. Everybody knows that. Benjamin Netanyahu posted, Sarah and I grieve with the American people over the loss of our dear friend, Senator Lindsey Graham. In our recent meeting, I said, Lindsey is a great friend of Israel and a cherished friend of mine. We have no better friend than Lindsey. Lindsey understood that the security of Israel and America are inseparable. He devoted his life to defending America, strengthening our alliance, and standing up for the free world. Israel has lost one of its greatest friends. America has lost a great patriot. I have lost a beloved friend. Our hearts are with Lindsey, Lindsey's family, and with the American people at this difficult time. May his values and initiatives continue to guide us toward victory and peace. May his memory forever be a blessing. Somebody posted that there's somebody at Mossad headquarters with a tear in their eye deleting 2 terabytes of blackmail material on Lindsey Graham this morning. And you know what? That may be accurate, huh? That may be accurate. This is another one. Like, you look at Trump and you go, oh my God, the Mossad blackmail material on this man, the Epstein blackmail material. Everybody's looking, wondering, hey, why does Trump keep going back to war with Iran and keep carpet bombing innocent people there and keep doing the worst imaginable things? Well, the reason is Epstein got blackmail on him. Now Mossad and Netanyahu have it, and Trump doesn't want that to come out. Okay, he's also a warmonger in his own respect, but we're at the point now where I don't think you can explain this without blackmail. He's directly fucking his chances of a political future and the Republican chances of a political future, doesn't seem to care. Another person who there's a very high likelihood of immense blackmail on is Lindsey Graham. We got to be serious about it. This is a man who literally never, in his entire time in office, ever disagreed with Israel a single fucking time. That's not an accident, okay? That's not a coincidence. The literal terrorist, Itamar Ben-Gvir, says, today, Israel has lost one of its greatest friends. Senator Lindsey Graham stood with Israel not because it was easy, but because he believed it was right. His unwavering support, courage, and moral clarity earned him the admiration of millions of Israelis. The state of Israel will always remember his friendship, the unwavering support, and his steadfast commitment to Israel's security. Heartfelt condolences to his family and the American people. May his memory be a blessing. This is a guy who literally was celebrating passing a law that was basically turning their detention camps into death camps and mass murdering the 10,000 or so hostages they have of Palestinians. That's what this man was most recently in the news for, okay? This man is a direct, literal terrorist. And it's people like him who are celebrating Lindsey Graham in the wake of his death. All right, Nancy Mace is considering running for Lindsey Graham's seat. So Beansy is at it again, y'all. Beansy is at it again. She may throw her hat in the ring. Not quite sure how that's going to go for her. We also have this. Whenever people try to finger wag at you and tut-tut and say, how dare you react in, a natural way when somebody like Lindsey Graham is gone, always remember, here's Donald J. Trump. Not that long ago, March 21st. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. President Donald J. Trump. And then when Lindsey Graham goes, Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the greatest people and senators I've ever known, is dead. He was always working and was a true American patriot. Lindsey will be greatly missed. Details and arrangements to follow. So sad, President Donald J. Trump. No, seriously though, I think Trump is probably shitting in his pants over Lindsey Graham dying. Because Lindsey Graham is 71 years old, seemed to be fine, played golf with Trump all the time, talked to Trump all the time, and Trump just saw him go like that. And we know Trump is going through a whole bunch of health issues. Cognitive health issues, physical health issues. He just said, I went for another physical voluntarily the other day. That's a total fucking lie. No, the fuck you didn't. You're going there for some sort of treatment for something we don't know. Is it mini strokes? Is it congestive heart failure? Is it Alzheimer's? Is it something else? But he knows, and he looks like garbage. He looks like trash. But remember, y'all, don't let anybody on the right ever finger wag at you. Don't let any of them say, how dare you say this or that. The reason we are like we are is because of them. We're not the ones who started this trend of being assholes when people die, okay? They're the ones who started this trend. And by the way, the difference is, when they're assholes against us, it's bullshit because we actually believe in good things and try to make the world a better place. When we're assholes against them, the reason why you are seeing people celebrate Lindsey Graham being gone is because he led to just a tremendous number of deaths. This guy only brought violence to the world. Violence, hatred. I mean, this man is the lowest of the low. He literally has hundreds of thousands of innocent people's blood on his hands. That is not an exaggeration. He supported every illegal war the U.S. did. Okay, whether it be Iraq, whether it be Afghanistan, whether it be Libya or Iran or Venezuela, literally every single one of them, he was leading the charge as a neocon warmonger psychopath. Okay, don't let any of them ever shame you. By the way, I used to be the type of person who actually believed, no, don't say anything mean, don't say anything bad when somebody dies. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. The thing that made me change my mind is literally Donald Trump and the Trump era. And realizing if only one side is committed to these things, then we're just going to get run roughshod over from now until the end of time. So what we do, we fight fire with fire. That's what we got to do. There's no way around it. If you guys are going to fucking say the most deranged and atrocious things when good people die, then when bad people die, we'll return the favor and tell the truth. Okay, that's what we're going to do. All right, how about this one? Mike Huckabee says, still processing the death of Lindsey Graham and reflecting on his life of service, his great sense of humor, and his love of Israel and the Jewish people. He was here in Israel often. He understood the importance of the U.S.-Israel partnership. He will be sorely missed. Mike Huckabee is a U.S. ambassador. And when a U.S. Senator, Lindsey Graham, dies, he goes, oh, he loved Israel so. Do you not realize how ridiculous that makes you look? You are a U.S. ambassador. He is a U.S. senator. And you're praising him for sucking off Israel and being a good friend to Israel, and then you wonder, they get mad when you call them Israel first? It's a sick joke, bro. It's a sick joke. Steve Schmidt says, Lindsey Graham was a simple, tragic man. He lacked a moral core. The great empty spaces of his life were filled with an insatiable need for relevance. He found it as a cast member in the most malignant reality show ever made. By the way, before Lindsey Graham sold his soul to Trump and MAGA, he's always been a warmonger, let's be clear about that, but he understood other elements of MAGA for what it was. The xenophobia, the bigotry, the racism, the divide and conquer. Here he is. He ran for president in 2016. Most people don't remember this. He got like negative 7% of the vote. He was running on a platform of, let's continue the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan forever. That's my position. Let's never get out. That's my take. That's what he ran on. You wonder why he got like negative 7% of the vote. But here's what he used to say back then when talking about Trump. Listen to this.
I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you like this guy. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for.
I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office. And I'm a Republican, and he's not. He's not a conservative Republican. He's an opportunist. He's not fit to be president of the United States. He's disparaged women. He has an 80% disapproval rating among Hispanics. At the end of the day, he would be the most flawed nominee in the history of the Republican Party. He accuses most illegal immigrants of being rapists and drug dealers. He plays into the idea that maybe Obama is a Muslim. 70% of us in South Carolina believe that Donald Trump is not a conservative Republican. We think that he's unfit for office, that he would be a terrible commander-in-chief. He doesn't have the temperament or judgment.
I think Donald Trump is a political car wreck, and people slow down and look at the wreck, but they eventually move on.
This is before he became the biggest Trump ball sweat slurper, ladies and gentlemen. He became the worst of the worst. And this is what he used to say beforehand. It just shows you he had nothing but the will to power, nothing but careerism, nothing but trying to climb that ladder and be in the club. By the way, here he is in 2015 talking about Joe Biden. Listen to what he said back then.
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation, because what's not to like? Here's what I can tell you, that life can change just like that. Don't take it for granted. Don't take relationships for granted. I called him after Bo died, and he basically said, well, Bo was my soul. We've talked for a long time. He came to my ceremony and said some of the most incredibly heartfelt things that anybody could ever say to me. And He's the nicest person I think I've ever met in politics.
Is that right?
He is as good a man as God ever created.
And then, of course, 100% turned on him, went after him all the time. All right, how about this one? Here's Lindsey Graham not that long ago saying, look, I'm not with the American people. I'm with Israel until my dying day. Here we go.
All the anti-Semites, to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
Massively drunk. By the way, this might be another thing. I'm just speculating here, but this might be another thing that led to him dying at 71. Is he's been on camera so many times just being boozed up like a motherfucker. Listen to this.
All the anti-Seminites, to all
the anti-Seminites.
The isolationists, I don't believe.
Stuttering.
Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
Ronald Reagan plus. How about this one? Here he is. He was invited on to talk about hurricane victims. We got hit with a big hurricane. Was this in his state? I don't remember which state this was in. Oh, it was in North Carolina. Okay, he's South Carolina. This is in North Carolina. And he was invited on to like bash Biden and the Democrats over their response to this, right? What does he do? Immediately shits the bed, dismisses the hurricane victims, and starts ranting about how we don't help Israel enough.
You know, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family? God. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends to keep the war over there from coming here.
There's never been a U.S. senator in history that cared less about the American people. He never thought about the American people, ever. Domestic policy, economic policy, never. It was always foreign policy, and his answer was always more war. Here he is, and this is a reduced version of what I could show you. But here he is, calling for effectively dropping nuclear bombs on Palestinians in Gaza and killing hundreds of thousands, millions of people, including thousands of children. Here we go.
We decided to end the war by bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki with nuclear weapons. That was the right decision. Give Israel the bombs they need to end the war they can't afford to lose and work with them to minimize casualties. Well, can I say this? Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end their existential threat war? Why was it okay for us to do that? I thought it was okay. To Israel, do whatever you have to do to survive as a Jewish state.
That's not subtle, yo. That's not subtle. Like, nuke the kids, nuke the children, nuke the innocent men and women. What are we doing? Of course. What are we wasting time for? This is what he's saying. And by the way, listen, it's very simple. If you want to be remembered favorably, you need to earn that. That's not just granted. That's not just gifted to you. If you're a massive piece of shit who's genocidal, you will be remembered as a massive piece of shit who's genocidal. You can't get mad at people for citing facts about you. You can't do that. What it is factual to say, he called for a nuclear assault on civilians. That's factual. Okay? So, because what you're going to see is people, and I've already seen Piers Morgan doing this, where he's like, looks like the hashtag be kind people are actually the most monstrous. Anytime a conservative politician dies, they say the most heinous things imaginable. Gosh golly, oh, chip chip cheerio. Where's my tea and crumpets? Well, guess what, bro? These people earned it. They earned that reaction. And, you know, everybody has some line. Piers Morgan would celebrate. I'm sure he celebrated when Osama bin Laden was killed. He may have celebrated when Saddam Hussein was killed. You know, he would celebrate if some serial pedophile or serial murderer was killed. Like, the idea that, oh, you got to be quiet across the board. It's just not going to happen, especially when you've made it your calling call. You've made it your life to be vicious towards innocent people and support endless war all the time. I mean, I'm sorry. This is the chickens coming home to roost, bro. If you advocated death and destruction all the time, when you're gone, people will breathe a sigh of relief because they'll say, at least he can't hurt anybody else. At least he can't aid to the death and destruction of many more people. Okay? So Lindsey Graham posted on July 6th, so not that long ago. at least they used a good photo of me. And it's a picture or a poster that was being held up in Iran saying, sooner or later, your heads will roll. And it shows Lindsey Graham, it shows Miriam Adelson, it shows Ben Shapiro. So basically, these huge Zionists, Trump is there as well, these huge Zionists protesting in Iran saying, like, you're going to be targeted because you guys targeted us, right? Laura Loomer chirps in, and she says, 5 days ago, Senator Lindsey Graham posted about how the IRGC threatened to assassinate him. They threatened to assassinate me and President Trump as well, with matching posters of our faces held by IRGC operatives at Khamenei's funeral that called for our heads to roll. Now Senator Graham is dead one day after returning from Ukraine. Russia sent a delegation to Khamenei's funeral. While in Ukraine, Senator Graham spoke about sanctioning Russia and further assisting Ukraine in their defense against Putin. Recently, Putin threatened to supply Iran with nuclear weapons. This doesn't feel like a coincidence. So there's multiple conspiracies. She's sort of hitting on both of them here, but one of them is that Russia actually killed Lindsey Graham because he just visited Ukraine. He's been a staunch supporter of Ukraine. There's even some speculation he got killed in the bombing of the drone factory that he visited, which actually happened a day after he was there, but people are saying they're just lying about the timeline. That's how he actually got killed by Russia in those drone strikes. And others are saying Iran somehow got to him. But understand there's zero evidence of this. At the moment, the evidence does indicate he's 71 years old. He drinks all the time, clearly doesn't have a very healthy lifestyle, maybe eats like shit, kind of like Trump, and he had a heart attack. When a 71-year-old dies, back in the day, we used to call that, yeah, that's what happens. Now, I don't know why people are acting like, oh my God, it's so crazy. Is it? I don't know. It's actually, when somebody's 71 back in the day, not that long ago, if they passed away, you'd go, no, yeah, well, that happens when you're around that age. Here's Kash Patel feeding into the conspiracies. He says, Senator Lindsey Graham was a devoted public servant, a fierce defender of our nation, and a true patriot who dedicated his life to the people of South Carolina and the United States. Our prayers are with his family, loved ones, colleagues, and all those who knew him during this devastating time. The FBI is assisting local authorities and has made every necessary resource available. For what? It's a heart attack from a 71-year-old. What the fuck are you babbling about? But finally, I'll leave you with this. Adam Carlson says, not to go immediately into political operative mode, but national Democrats and major donors should at least kick the tires on putting some weight behind Democratic nominee Annie Andrews in November's U.S. Senate special election in South Carolina. In 2016, it was closer than Alaska. It has consistently been closer than Nebraska. Democrats have kept it within single digits in 2 of the last 4 governor's races in South Carolina. Hope Republicans nominate an insane person and pray the national wave is blue enough to give Andrews a fighting chance, or at the very least make Republicans spend money defending it. So yes, because Lindsey Graham is now gone, and the election was going to happen very soon, like in 2 weeks or something like that, the election was going to happen. So now the Republicans are scrambling to get a replacement, and then you're up against this person who's been in the race for quite a while. She has momentum. It's a blue wave year. The Republicans could pick some absolute psychopath that just Trump wants. And, there's been a number of times Trump picks a candidate and then that candidate shits the bed in the general because they're too extreme. So is South Carolina in play? South Carolina might be in play, y'all. South Carolina might be in play. So Lindsey Graham is gone. And yeah, I'll pretty much leave it at that. Obviously, full show back tomorrow in the driver's seat from vacation. I love y'all, and I'll see you there. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.